All right, one of our hardcore listeners, John Phillips, hit me up through the Twitter.
Okay.
And being that it is Halloween on Tuesday, he sent me over a link that was published on, I don't know, you probably don't know this guy, but he's a local, he's a former representative. He served in the House of Representatives for a term or two. His name is Joe Walsh, just like the guitarist.
I've heard of him, but I don't know anything
I
about
listened to him on the way home. He comes on at 5 here locally.
Okay.
And I get to listen to him for about 30 minutes.
Okay.
And, you know, he's a, you know, no holds barred kind of guy. You know, he's not politically correct in any way.
All right.
He, you know, he speaks his mind, and I like the guy. He's one of these people that if and when the opportunity were to arise, I would like to actually meet the guy.
Okay.
Because he's not one of these big corporate guys. He's not like a Rush Limbaugh or anything like that. But he is a social or political commentator.
Okay.
And he talks about the events of the day and politics. You know, obviously Trump is the biggest, you know, subject. Mm-hmm. So I like him, but his website is Walsh Freedom, if you want to look it up, if you like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, there's a article out there, and this kind of touches on a little bit of what we talked about last week about the liberals sucking the fun out of Halloween.
Okay.
This is 9 tips, like anybody who's really concerned about this. If you were dressing up for Halloween, would you put some thought in it to say, I wonder if this is racist or bigoted, this Halloween costume?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, see, that's my point. I don't know how many people would sit there and contemplate that prior to making their Halloween costume, and I say that with emphasis. It's a costume. Their costume choice is going to be racist or bigoted.
Right.
So here's the thing. 9 tips to avoid being a racist bigot this Halloween.
Okay, good. Let me write these down.
Yeah, so this is the thing, and we pointed this out earlier in the show. Halloween is a goofy holiday.
Yeah.
You just go out there and have fun, and you do stupid shit. What was your term that you said? Act how?
What? What, fucky? I don't know.
You used the term like you said, this just a time for you to go out there and act goofy or something like that.
Yeah, just act like a kid, basically.
Just
yeah.
Well, now we have to attach some kind of social justice to costumes now, or bigots or racist or anything, just the costumes.
Yeah, sure we do.
Yeah. So here you go, kids, for those adults out there who listen to the show. If you're so concerned that you don't want to be offensive with a, God forbid, a Halloween costume.
All right.
Be careful not to cross 9 of these rules.
Okay.
Who knew there were rules in costumes?
Yeah, I didn't know. I was unaware.
It's important for white children.
Oh, boy.
No, notice this, specifically white children.
I'm already mad at this story, but go ahead.
Not just children, but white children.
Yeah.
Isn't that segregation just alone?
No, the white guys are the devil. So
I guess they are.
These are the children of the devil.
I guess. It's important for white children to understand at a very young age.
That's right. So 3 years and up. Let's go.
That they are a cancer on the earth, and everything that they do is racist.
I'm thinking that's editorializing.
Yes,
right?
Of course it is. There is probably no better time to dive into their bigoted heads than Halloween, a holiday rife with problematic potential.
Okay.
On that note, several articles have recently been written explaining why your daughter is essentially committing genocide if she dresses like Moana for trick-or-treat this year.
Who is Moana?
I think she's like a Disney character. I think she's like a cartoon movie.
All right.
I think she's like Samoan or something.
Okay.
Look her up. Moana.
Let's see here. Let me go here.
I think she's like Indian or Samoan or something. She's like one of those Disney cartoon or something.
Yeah, all right. I'll put it in the chat room. All right, go ahead.
So anyway, your daughter is essentially committing genocide if she dresses like Moana for trick or treat this year.
Yeah, okay. Genocide.
Yeah, genocide.
Dressing like that is the same as murdering a race.
Yeah, more or less. But according to the liberals, that's the seriousness of dressing like that.
I see. Very good point they're making there.
Mm-hmm. In case you haven't seen the film because you're a racist, a quick recap.
All right.
Moana tells the inspiring story of a spunky little Polynesian girl who saves her island and the entire world by publishing a series of feminist pamphlets decrying gender wage disparity in the workforce.
Stop it.
At least that's how I interpret it, viewing it through the lens of an extremely woke individual.
Oh, all right.
That's one of the reasons I didn't like the movie, even though the graphics and everything were pretty cool. I didn't like that movie. What was that big movie about 3 or 4 years ago that had the fantastic graphics?
Doctor Strange?
No. It was a cartoon style movie. Shit. What was it?
Beats me.
It was huge. It made a lot of money.
Avatar?
That's it.
Avatar?
Yes.
More like 10 years ago, but okay.
Was it that long ago?
I think so.
Oh, okay. I saw it once and I was just like, you know what? This is just a bunch of bullshit propaganda.
2009.
Okay. So, 8 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of bullshit propaganda. You know, the human race is bad. We're destroying the earth. Mm-hmm. We need to hug a tree. Blah blah blah. Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of my face. I don't want to see a political movie.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm totally with you on that.
Obviously, dressing as Moana for Halloween is a form of cultural appropriation because Moana isn't white.
Oh, no.
She's also isn't anything, really, because she's a fictional character.
Yeah, no shit.
But let's not get bogged down by detail. In fact, an article at raceconscious.org.
Mm-hmm.
Who is going to a website called Race Conscious?
Me? I'm writing it down now so I can get myself woke.
Okay. Explains that the appropriation is all the more appropriative in this case because Moana, a film featuring a magical singing demagogue and a sentient island that turns into a gigantic demon beast and then back into an island again. That's a spoiler alert, by the way, is based on real history.
Dude, you ruined it for me.
I know.
Damn it.
The author goes on to argue that it could even be racist to dress up like Elsa because Elsa is white.
Elsa is from Frozen?
I don't know.
I think that's from Frozen.
It seems very confusing, especially to white people, because white people are all profound stupid, except for me, compared to more advanced races.
Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You gotta realize that this author is being sarcastic.
Okay. Well, that's something.
The offensive costume matrix has gotten so complex that a college magazine had to print an entire flow chart explaining how to correctly select Halloween costumes without persecuting 4/5 of the globe.
You know what? Here's how you choose a Halloween costume. You go in and you pick it. You don't give two fucks about what somebody thinks about your fucking playtime.
Right.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about you stop being so goddamn oversensitive about fucking acting out as something you're not?
Right.
That's what Halloween is, you fucking jizzbag. How about you fucking go and get a costume as somebody with a half a brain, you fuck?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I've decided to add my voice to this discussion by providing a handy list of 9 simple ways to avoid being racist on Halloween.
Well, please teach me.
It goes without saying that these rules, like all rules, I didn't know Halloween had rules.
It only does if you're afraid of being labeled. Again, it goes down to what I say every week. You just have to stop being afraid of anybody having putting a label on you. If you're afraid of somebody putting a label on you, then you have to follow all these goddamn faggot-ass guidelines.
Right.
Just let them call you a racist. Just let them call you a bigot. Who cares? You know what you are. You know, you don't need justification from some fucking jizzbag that doesn't know you at all. You know, like this lady. The reason people will... Is this a lady that wrote this, I'm assuming? Or a guy?
Let's see who wrote this exactly. Matt Walsh.
All right, so guy. So like I said, this lady, this fucking weak-minded bitch, fucking needs to... in their life, can't handle somebody tagging them as anything.
Well, I think you might have this a little bit wrong. I think this Matt Walsh is making fun of
is he?
People who are taking this seriously.
Okay, because so then he goes with me. With,
yes, he's making fun of them.
Right. I don't give a shit what you say about me. Because that's what it has to be. For everybody that wants to see this political correct horse shit to stop, the only way it stops is if you stop letting these fucking labels bother you. I'm racist. I'm a bigot. I'm a homophobe. Whenever anybody calls you any of that, you just got to say, yep. And that'll shut them the fuck up.
And you go, yep, nailed it.
Got me. What's your point? When you do that, they're done. They'll go, oh, you're a fucking asshole. Yeah, I am that too. And then they get frustrated and walk away because the only power, if you've ever argued with anybody that has the liberal mindset, when they start losing, they call the name.
Sure.
So once they call the name, then if you don't give them any power with that, then it's over. Then they'll just walk away and they'll leave you the fuck alone. And you know what? If you're that big of a fucking pussy that you're fucking offended by every little goddamn thing, I don't want you in my life in the first fucking place. Please stay out of my life. Please think that I'm such an asshole that you can't be around me. Please do that. Do me a solid by not being around me. Think that I'm a cunt and move the fuck along.
Right.
And that helps me more than anything else. Okay, go ahead.
All right. It goes without saying that these rules, like all rules, are intended for white, cisgendered heterosexuals only.
All right, good.
Everyone else can do literally whatever they want. Indeed, the article cited above closes by touting a black version of Elsa.
Well, that's good.
Is it racist for a black person to dress up like a Norwegian character? No. Norwegian culture is white, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I don't think Norwegia is a real place, to be honest. Just another lie made up by the white man.
Right.
Anyway, here we go. Number 1. Avoid costumes based on characters outside of your race.
Okay.
This has been covered, but it bears repeating. It is absolutely demeaning and insensitive to pretend to be something you're not.
Okay.
Isn't that what Halloween is?
I was going to say, that's like the whole meaning of Halloween.
I know, but this is, again, liberals sucking the life and the fun out of everything.
Yep.
Unless you're a man pretending to be a woman, in which case a parade should be thrown in your honor. Now you might retort that the entire freaking point of Halloween is to pretend to be something you're not.
Mm-hmm.
But that argument only reveals your white privilege.
Yeah, Neely.
Look, it's simple. People of color are not here for your amusement. Mm-hmm. It is not acceptable to make mockery. Every time I see that word, all I could think is my cousin Vinny. Mr. Gambini, are you mocking me? Of the entire race of people who, even if your intention is to pay them homage, it's hard for you to understand the pain caused by cultural characters because you're white and nobody ever makes a character of white people.
Oh.
They don't?
Never.
Ask Donald Trump.
Never. Donald Trump doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's white.
Oh, that's true. Incidentally, I had a great discussion about this very point last St. Paddy's Day while I was guzzling Irish beer among a crowd of drunken hooligans dressed like leprechauns and wearing shamrock glasses.
They should all be jailed.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Avoid costumes based on characters of the same race.
Oh, well. So in other words, avoid costumes.
Yeah, don't wear one at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could go as Dog the Bounty Hunter.
No. He's the same race as you.
That's true. So that would be out for me, even though I have a resemblance.
Yeah, out. No. The best costume for you would be to go as Neely. That'd be a good costume for you.
What kind of message are you sending when you dress as a white person for Halloween?
Yeah, man!
Are minority cultures not worthy of your attention?
No, they're not.
Would you be embarrassed to be seen in a costume associated with a race you clearly find inferior?
Oh, Jesus.
Do you think that the only good fictional characters are white? A white child dressed as a white character is advocating segregation. She might as well just dress up as Jim Crow. The one thing more bigoted than mocking a person of color by dressing like them is excluding them by not dressing like them.
Wow.
And you should be ashamed.
Yeah, shame.
So for more clarification on that, see rule number 1. Don't dress as somebody outside of your race. Number 3.
Okay.
Avoid costumes made from material that originates from historically oppressed regions.
Okay.
Costumes made from cotton are definitely out for obviously reasons.
Of course.
Costumes featuring anything gold or sparkly must be ruled out because they may remind indigenous people of the European explorers who came here to rape their land and steal their gold. Actually, all fabrics must be ruled out because East Asia has had prosperous textile trade for many centuries. Oh, and don't even thinking about wearing a jacket if it's a little cold on Halloween. That would be extremely offensive to Eskimos who are basically not white and I assume invented the jacket.
Right.
Number 4.
All right.
Avoid costumes made from material that does not originate from historically oppressed regions. What are you trying to prove by dressing your kid in that plastic Batman costume? Plastic invented by a white man, which is the point of pride for white supremacists everywhere. Are you a white supremacist? Is your kid? When you wear plastic, you otherwise exclude marginalized people who did not have the opportunity to invent plastic.
Oh, Jesus.
Try to be a little more sensitive for a change, you worthless, drooling, knuckle-dragging Nazi caveman.
Yeah, pal.
Number 5.
All right.
Avoid costumes that marginalize people who prefer not to wear.
Okay.
This isn't hard. If a person from a marginalized group is offended by your costume for any reason whatsoever, you must immediately tear it off and run through the streets naked, beating your chest and screaming, "Mea culpa, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa." The safest approach is to gather together a focus group of your 500 closest minority friends and have them vote on the appropriateness of your costume.
Oh, my God.
This is the process I follow before I get dressed every day. It only takes about 8 to 10 hours usually, and a small price to pay in the name of combating white supremacy.
Good point. And Phil Ooze, that might be racist there. Jesus Christ. I don't think those are really costumes.
Yeah.
I think those are the actual people.
Look at Phil Ooze.
That's what I'm saying.
Holy cow.
One days Phil Ooze's home in fucking France is going to get hit by a drone strike.
Yeah. Avoid costumes you buy from the store.
Okay.
Think about it. If you buy a costume from a local retailer, that's one fewer costumes that will be available for the next African American, Latino, Sudanese, or Cambodian who walks through the door. In a sense, by purchasing the costume, you are stealing it from Cambodia.
That's a very good point.
Uh-huh. Worst of all, store-bought costumes advertise your wealth and privilege to the disadvantaged group who've long dreamed of going into a shopping spree at a party city.
That's a good point, too.
I seriously can't believe that you would even consider buying a costume for yourself or your child. You may as well have just cut to the chase and kick a minority in the shins, you disgusting cretin. Number 7, avoid homemade costumes.
Well, good. If you're not going to buy it at the store, why should you have a homemade one either?
Yeah. Is there anything more obnoxious way to flaunt your privilege than to wear a costume you made yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Think about the impact you may have on those around you. When I was a child, I wanted to be a knight for Halloween, so my mom covered a cereal box in tinfoil and put it on my head. As I walked down the street, thousands of black and Hispanic children looked at my ritzy homemade outfit and wept. I learned then how dangerous Halloween can be.
Yeah, he's right about that.
The other problem is the homemade clothing is customary in many African and Asian cultures. They're stitched with their own garbs of millennia. Okay.
Means,
I guess they're children. I guess child labor.
All right.
It's highly presumptuous for a white person to partake in such a intimate and long-standing minority tradition. How could you ever consider doing something that minorities do or don't do?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're sewing your own costume, you're appropriating their culture because that's a cultural thing. They sit around in sewing circles, I guess. Number 8, just avoid costumes altogether.
Okay.
All costumes are cultural appropriation by definition. If you'd studied your history, you know that non-white cultures have always worn costumes for their various wonderful festivals and so forth. The Wadabi tribe in Niger joins together once a year for a ritual celebration where many of the participants wear elaborate face paint and feathery attire. Mm-hmm. Before you go out this Halloween, think of how your costume will impact any Wadabi people you may come across. Perhaps it's best to forfeit costumes entirely.
Okay.
And number 9.
What, don't celebrate Halloween?
Well, avoiding costumes. No matter how you do this, you can't win.
Right.
Only a racist would forfeit costumes entirely. To forgo costumes on Halloween communicates two things to the marginalized population. A, you don't want to offend them because you're afraid of them, which perpetuates the myth of the dangerous minority. And B, you don't want to partake in this fun holiday with minorities because they aren't equal to you. Your decision to not wear a costume can be extremely dehumanizing to non-white people, almost as dehumanizing as your decision to wear a costume. These are the rules. They will be strictly enforced. Any white children who come knocking at your door will have to follow the above protocol and pass a short cultural sensitivity quiz in order to receive a treat.
Great.
If they fail, well, they'll just have to hope that the guy next door is handing out gluten-free pita chips. Mine are reserved for non-racist only.
Oh, that's nice. Fantastic.
So this comes down to an old cliche.
Mm-hmm.
You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't.
Pretty much.
That's it.
Nice. Well, I have a story.
Before we break away and you can get to your story,
go ahead.
Just a couple comments that I wanted to read from this article.
Okay.
If you don't read this article, you're a bigot. If you do read this article, you're a racist. If you don't know this article exists, you are an uninformed ignorant.
Oh, man.
The next comment was, this demonstrates just how bad things have gotten in culture that permits blacks to be blatant racist while denying the object of that racism any defense.
Right.
And one more last thing. I'm going to dress up as Caitlyn Jenner in a blackface, wearing an Indian headdress, waving a IBGQTLABC flag in a wheelchair with a dwarf in tow, just to piss off any libtards in my neighborhood. Almost forgot I'll be carrying my AR-15 and wearing an NRA jacket, eating bacon and yelling Trump 2020. So there you go.
That's funny.